And we're very excited today to present this film, The Sound She Saw. It's a great documentary that I'm sure you'll all enjoy. And please stick around at the end. We have the film's director here, Crystal Whaley, and one of the artists featured. And as well as how we have Fabiola Jean-Louis, one of the photographers. So stick around for that after the film. Just to briefly mention as well, the Newark Museum of Art, we are the home of the Newark Black Film Festival. Right, the oldest Black Film Festival in the country. This year is our 50th year. Historic year. This film is part of our new Black Film Festival Presents series. We'll look out for July 10th through the 14th, which is our kind of main bulk of the festival. We have a lot of exciting things planned, so keep a lookout for that and enjoy the film.
I'm glad you all could make it out tonight. This was such a great screening. I want to introduce you to the director of the film, Crystal Whaley. I also want to introduce you to one of the photographers featured in the film, Fabiola Jean-Louis. Thank you all, first of all, for being here. This was a wonderful film. My name is Imani Lee Hector. I'm the program and media producer here at the museum. And I'm just delighted to sit down and have a quick convo with you all tonight. So you all are just seeing those ending credits wrapping up, but as we did see, there was a fairly long list of photographers at the end of the film. So how did you go about compiling that list, Crystal? And also, I don't want to just go right into the questions. You can kind of say whatever it is that you all want to say to the audience as well. So feel free.
Well, thank you for coming out. It's on, right? Oh, hi, everybody. Thank you for coming out. It was really important for me to make sure that this film was here at the Newark Museum of Art, just because of all of the brown and black aestheticness and richness, and I just wanted to make sure it was here. I also am so happy that Fabiola could join me today. She's an amazing artist. I'll let Fabiola tell you more about her work, but just one thing I want you to know about her section. All of those dresses were made out of paper. Fabiola is amazing, multi-hyphenated artist, and I love her eyes, so I'm so happy that she's here with us tonight. Thank you. Yeah, please give it up to Fabiola. Yeah, so the names are, there's over 500 Black women photographers, and so I wanted to make sure that people knew that there was, we're out here. And there's so much more, there's so many more. And so that was basically a compilation of research I've been doing for a long time. There is a book called Fun, Women of the African Diaspora, that was published in 2017 with one of the fabulous artists, and I think her work is still here, right? Delphine Fwandu?
Yes, her exhibition in our galleries actually is just closing this weekend. So if you all want to have a last look,
yes,
please do join us. We have events this Saturday. You can take a look at it then, and also Sunday and tomorrow as well.
So she and her creative partner, Layla Baran, Amatullah Baran, they are the co-founders of the fund, and I was the deputy editor and the producer. So a lot of those names were discovered in the research of getting ready for that book, as well as a bunch of those names came from Viewfinders, which is Jeannie Mutusumi Ash, the first person that you saw, who is Arthur Ashe's widow, who actually created this, well, her book was the seminal book of Black women photography that she put out in 1986, and then 31 or 2 years later, the fund happened. So, you know, it was a concerted and intentional effort to make sure that you saw rows and rows and rows of names of Black women photographers. And like I said, it's just the tip of the iceberg, and there's so many more now.
Yes, absolutely. They were even just falling out of frame. There were so many.
And it was intentional
I
because I wanted to make sure that you understood that they are here and they illuminate and we stand on their shoulders, right? So they're falling out of the sky.
I love that. Fabiola, we saw your interview towards the ending of the film there, and I just kind of wanted to dive more into what you were saying about the visualism of your work. So if you could tell us more about why is it that you include Black subjects in your photographs, and what does the Afrofuturism and that element kind of take a play in your work?
It's very layered. So what I can start with is that it's important for me to show what I want to see. As a Black artist, woman, maker, mother, you know, it's important for me to put into the world what I value, what is important, and it's part of the future that I see as well. It's part of the present, you know, history. It's part of the future that I want to create. And so that is also linked to Afrofuturism, because, you know, my work has many hints of history, sci-fi, and fantasy there. So when we're thinking about time, I think Afrofuturism, I know it does, it encompasses all of those things. And so I see Blackness as this omnipresent thing. And I'm also trying to project the world that I hope can come of that. So there's a lot happening at once.
Absolutely. Speaking of a lot happening at once, you all are both multidisciplinary, multi-hyphenate, as you called it, artists. You all carry, you know, so much art within you. Can you all just speak a little bit more about what that's like, that balance, and, you know, how that just comes out of you? How do you kind of, you know, control it, if that's the word?
Okay, I am a dreamer and a truth teller, so I'm always trying to figure out creative ways to express myself in that way. I have a journalism degree, so I'm always looking for the story and looking for the truth of that story. And being a Black woman creator, I'm always going to put us first. You know, Black women and girls are at the center of most and all of my work. And the many hyphens is just me, you know, honoring my inner child, where I'm playful and I'm dancing and I'm twirling and I'm taking a picture. And then I'm telling the story, and then I'm putting those pictures together, and it is a moving image. And then I'm trying to figure out how I can tell a cohesive story without it being a movie image, in terms of curating an exhibition that says more, or says, or kind of puts an exclamation point of something that I'm trying to say that is going to be lasting, and also intimate for those who are able to see the curation. So the balance is just honoring myself, and really with creating this film, this is the only film that's about Black women photographers ever, and what I was not going to let somebody else do is do that. So thank you. And in that way, I gave myself agency to tell the story, to help allow my beautiful artist friends to be able to tell their stories in the film. So, Even though, the playfulness and, the creativeness that comes out through the play might seem frivolous, but it always has a deep intention. And the intention is to illuminate us so that there is another example of us not being erased. So that was just really important to me.
Thank you.
Honestly, it's just groundbreaking. And that's just a basic word to use to describe what you've done with this project.
Thank you.
Because, there's a part of me that's a researcher and archivist, and just thinking about knowing that this exists in the world is just so amazing to me, so thank you. I think being an interdisciplinary artist, or what I like to call a conceptual maker, I'm a maker. I make art, I make things, I make people. I'm a mother of 5. So definitely my motherhood has influenced my ability to wear many hats and to create out of nothing, especially as you heard, I was on public assistance when I started my work. So, motherhood has taught me to be nimble and move in ways that, maybe if I didn't have my children, I would be too afraid to do. And so there comes with that a lot of bravery, and I'm not claiming to be the most brave person at all, but for my life experience, I know that I've had to be very, very brave to drop a pre-med education, to drop, my dream at the time to be a cancer science research doctor, to hold a camera with my little children who had gone through 4 years, nearly 4 years of pre-med or biology with me, and go through all of that for me to say, psych, I think I want to be a photographer. And I'm laughing at it now because it kind of sounds a little ridiculous. And then having to tell my very, very Haitian Caribbean parents that. And it takes bravery. And so all of that goes into the work. Because I think at the center, I've learned how to be honest. And first and foremost, honest with myself. That, and knowing my path is my path, and it's my chosen path, and that's going to show up in the work. So, that also shows up in the photography and the paper making and all of those things. I don't know how to do that, but I'm gonna somehow. It's out for me.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. It goes into just what you were saying of your vision, and that is actually how you created your life now. I want to just take a moment. The Sound She Saw. Can you just tell us more about that title?
So Adrian hit on it for a second. So one of our patron saints is Roy why can I say his name? Roy DiGobro-Barba. I'm saying it wrong, I'm butchering it. So sorry, I'm tired. Anyway, his work was the first time that we saw Black people being themselves, not being objectified in a way, and the beauty of how they were in everydayness, right? The images that he created that was in his seminal book, The Sound I Saw, was just something that we had never seen before, and the way that he treats shadows and lights and lighting with Black skin was just amazing and phenomenal and freeing in a way that we didn't see, or what we did see, we didn't place judgment because it was so pure. And so, of course, during that work and that beautiful book, he had complete control of his narrative. He had complete agency. And so when I thought about naming this film and really kind of honing in to the idea of having agency and of all of the erasure that was going on. And just a note, I made this film because I was sick of seeing us on a constant loop, every second, getting murdered in the street. I was just sick of it. And so I wanted to make a film that really celebrated us and honored us, specifically Black women. And so thinking about the title, I wanted to give agency to the title. So I said the sound she saw, because that's how we are coming to this project, how we are seeing ourselves in this project, and in an effort to counter that narrative that was happening and continues to happen. But at that point during the uprising, it was just something that I just could not stomach, and so I needed to have a balm, and so this is the balm, and I had to call it the sound she saw. But absolutely nodding to our patron, one of our patrons saying.
And so, how did you go about choosing? There were such great photographers in the film. How did you go about choosing?
It was my intention to make sure that it was multi-generational and that there was different types of photography. So we have street photography, we have portraiture, we have kind of very kind of artistic types of photography. We have almost archaeological types of photography. So I wanted to make sure there was a huge range. I also wanted to make sure there was photographers in the piece that were doing commercial kind of branded work, and that was with Dana Scruggs, who brought her dog the day of and didn't tell us she was bringing her dog. So the dog is also a character, which is funny because it's all quirky, it all works, right? So yeah, so it was important to me to make sure that there was a broad range, you know, and I had relationships with all of these photographers, and everyone said yes, and I didn't expect everyone to say yes, especially Jeannie and Renee. Like, I was like, this is gonna be a long shot. They were like, yeah, girl, I'll be there. I'll be there. And I had, you know, it was a shoestring budget. It was, you know, a love, passion project, and all I did was, you know, bow and gave them their flowers. Literally gave everybody flowers.
That's beautiful. That was such a gift, just to hear them speak.
Oh, yeah.
I know some of these women, I think we all do, but just to have that platform, to hear their voice was everything. So thank you for that, and I'm glad that it was just a passion project and everyone was able to share.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk more about your work, Crystal. You have developed and produced award-winning features and short films, commercials, music videos, documentaries, the list goes on. Why did you want to make this your first feature? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I also wanted to know, how do you navigate the field of film production, now moving into directing as a woman?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. I've been a producer for over 25 years, and so producing is really kind of making it happen for somebody else. It doesn't matter if the concept or the story is something that you like or something that's good. Your job is to make sure that it gets done, it gets created, and hopefully comes under budget or at least at budget. I'm also, and have always been, a frustrated director and writer. And so this was an opportunity for me to shut all of my friends and family who have been like, when are you gonna do something? You know, they have been at me for years. And then I had one of my producing partners who was like, who really kind of lit the fire underneath me when she said, okay, so you're gonna do your crowdfunding campaign on, you know, next Friday? I was like, wait a minute. So she kind of forced me, as well as many others. But yeah, I am a very, very good producer. However, I feel like I am, my directing skills is kind of on par, and I'm tired of doing it for everybody else. So let me get out of my own way, and let me make sure that I am telling the story through my lens, through the lens of my beautiful talent and my beautiful, photographers who were in the film, and let me give myself my own agency. And so, like I said, the time was perfect. It was in the middle of COVID. I was fed up. We did this this documentary on hardly any money in one location in 2 days in June 1st and 2nd. And everybody was, like I said before, excited and willing to give me the time, and gave me even more time. I expected folks to give me maybe 20 minutes. Folks were there, like Renee gave me 3.5 hours. I could make a whole series on her. And I'm shooting fabulous, right?
I would like to see some of that footage.
Yeah, and just kind of moving on to a space where I'm more well-rounded as an artist. Like I said, getting out of my own way and also getting out of my fear. I've been writing forever. I have a whole degree, a journalism degree, but I was always putting it in the back burner, just behind me. So, in the industry, it's kind of what Adrian said. If you need to do it, Adrian and Lori, do it and do it to the best of your ability. And now that we have, everyone has a smartphone, no one has any excuses of not, telling their story the way they want to tell it. So, yeah.
Thank you. So, I'm going to open it up to the audience in just a minute. So if you do have a question, please file through to these mics that are in both of the aisles. We really want to hear your questions. I wanted to ask one final question about collaboration. This was a collaborative work, as you said. Could each of you just speak a little bit more about collaborating with other Black women in your field? Fabiola, even though I don't feel like everyone was in the same space, you seemed like you were probably
Everybody was in the same space in 2 days.
Where was this shot?
It was shot at the Sunspot Studios in Brooklyn, owned by a Black man.
Yes.
Let's get some claps for that. I could only tell just that one space kind of looked similar, but that's amazing that was all at one space. So can you just speak about what the collaboration felt like, all of that energy just in one spot?
Well, I didn't get to meet everyone. I knew maybe half of everyone that was in there, but I think I was kind of solo that,
Yeah.
maybe.
Everyone had like a time slot,
Yeah.
right, over 2 days, so it was, when it was most convenient, so everyone did see each other, but I think everybody was in fun. Yeah, so we might have seen everybody during one of those events.
Okay.
Me and Crystal we had been crossing paths for a minute with the M1 book, because I happened to be in that book as well. And so that's when I met you. And so I think we were kind of always, we didn't know it then, but in retrospect, we were walking towards this type of collaboration. And this is my first time seeing the film, because we had the pandemic, we had all the work you were doing to promote it, and it was traveling, and I was traveling for work. So when Crystal invited me to do this talk, I was like, I have to, I want to, my spirit was like, I gotta be a part of it. So this is all kind of, I didn't even remember what I said until today.
Coming full circle.
I kind of sank in my seat and I saw myself like, oh wow. So, it's all very new, and the collaboration process has been smooth and pretty awesome. I mean, but, sometimes we don't have to sit in the same room to feel like that collaboration is happening. Just knowing that Crystal was doing all of this, and I'm watching it on social media and everywhere that it's been, I can still feel that work, and I can still feel the collaboration with everyone that was a part of it, so.
And one thing that I really love is that, everyone kind of referred back to each other, right? Which I didn't plan, I didn't plant, but that's how the collaborative spirit was. Everybody also, gave Carrie Mae Weems her flowers, who was supposed to be in the film, but was actually mounting the big show. But I mean, the way that everyone kind of goes back to each other and gives each other, that love, kind of, speaks volumes of how easy and how, just easy. No roadblocks or anything about the collaboration.
Yeah. Well, we're actually good at building community,
Yeah.
That's just something that we know how to do, and it shouldn't be a surprise,
Absolutely.
that we would love on each other in that way, and throw flowers at each other's feet. I think it's just something we do anyway.
Yeah.
I so happen to get it on camera, thank goodness.
Yes, and the reason why my credits are so long is because I was intentional of thanking everybody that gave me 5 cents to get this done. And then, it just speaks to the larger community that helped this happen.
Absolutely, and that speaks to the quality of artist that you are. So thank you. We want to open it up to the audience. Go ahead and you can ask your question.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm super excited because today's my birthday and I get to see this. So I'm super excited. Even though it's my birthday, I still want to support Black women. So I'm super excited. This is a great film. This is for Fabiola.
You're Haitian, aren't you?
Oh.
It sounded like my mom was calling me.
Do she be like, Fabi, Fabiola? So as a fellow Haitian, so pretty much as a lot of people may know, like when people come here, they have the American dream, which is very STEM oriented. Doctor, lawyer, nurse, engineer. So for you, Fabiola, what gave you the strength to pursue your version of the American dream while it conflicted with your family's version of the American dream?
That's a good question.
Oh, yo.
The strength, honestly, I had been a rebel for a very long time, and my poor parents. I was getting tattooed at 16. I left home at 16 because I always felt different. I just always felt like the Haitian status quo and certain rules were just not for me. And it's interesting because now in my elder years, I find myself more with those Haitian values than I did before. But when I picked up the camera and I was in the middle, towards the end of my education in college, I was already in my 30s. I was 30. It was just very, very late in the stage, if you will. And again, having 3 children. I think when you can be at that age on public assistance with 3 kids as a single mother, there's not much else that you should fear. Even I was afraid of my mother and my father still. I was still kind of like, oh my goodness, they're gonna kill me. There's this concern. But that wasn't enough anymore. It's like I've done it. I've done a lot of suffering. I've done a lot of suffering already. Trying to navigate my Black life and my womanhood according to my own terms. I had already been doing that, and so it was just dive right in, and then I just made the call and said, hey, I'm a photographer. Yes, and they, to this day, one of my dresses ended up being at the Metropolitan Museum in 2021 for the Afrofuturism period room. And I found myself, so this is just 2.5 years ago, I found myself at the opening, it's kind of like a gala, a huge situation. My parents are in dress and suit and tie and everything. It's very, very formal. And at my age, and I'm 45 now, so in my 40s, I turned to my father and I cried and asked him if he was proud of me now. So it's kind of a full circle for me. It's been to resist, to run away, to find thyself, and then to find thyself, go home and say, do you accept me as I am?
Does anyone have a question? Please don't be shy.
I just didn't want to walk over there. I don't want to bore you with the thank you, but thank you.
Thank you.
So when I was watching this beautiful film and looking at the title, The Sound She Saw, I thought I was going to see the production of the photography. But yet when they all spoke, I could visualize their dreams and the production and their aspirations and their lifestyle, like so much of it without seeing it. So like, what was your ideas behind just grasping them?
I wanted for every woman to tell a little piece of their story in celebration, especially during that time. It was just, everything was very bleak. I mean, I don't know if it's much better now, but at least it's not completely on loop all the time, So my thought was, let's ask some questions about how we control what we see, and in doing so, let's celebrate and give honor.
Yeah, thank you. My last question is, where can we find the list of all the photographers if you're willing to share it?
Yes, well, I should put them on the website. Actually, there's a website called The Sound She Saw. I should actually do that. Thank you very much as a suggestion. It's I have a curriculum for school, elementary, middle school, and college. And within that curriculum, there is a whole class about those names. But I will absolutely insert them into the website.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just one for Crystal.
Yes.
Would it be possible for you to bring it to the UK?
Listen, I've been trying to get to the tape monitor for a while. Can you help me get
I
there?
certainly can, and I've got people.
Okay.
No, I can't.
Yes.
Actually, before we go, there's a place called Manchester International Festival in Manchester,
Yes.
and I think that might be,
It might be a good fit.
yeah, even if you can't get to the tape,
Okay.
I think that there'd be a lot of sisters that would be really appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Real quick, I'm gonna give you ladies your flowers. I think they deserve another round of applause. It was an absolutely beautiful piece. My question for you is, are we expecting a part 2?
Okay, so the plan for this film is to get picked up someplace, but the larger plan is to have it be a doc-series. And so I'm focusing on the doc-series, not just Black women photographers, but Black women artists. And it would be an 8-episodic, 1-hour series.
I want to be in
Yes,
this.
ma'am. So that is the dream. And not even a dream, that's happening, because we're magic makers on the stage, so that's not happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want you guys to totally be on Netflix. I need to watch this again.
Thank you.
We have one more
Yes.
question.
Thank you. I almost didn't come here tonight because I had difficulty finding parking, and I found it outside. And my friend Karen and I were talking about that. Born and raised in Newark. Question that I have is, with you ladies being photographers, how do you plan on paying it forward to the younger generation, especially since you mentioned doing another docuseries with other artists? Like, how would you reach out to the younger generation who's interested in becoming different type of artists and photographers?
Well, I've already created curriculums, and I want that's in schools. That will be in schools. It's licensed. Well, it has a license with 4 universities right now, and so guess what it's kind of part of my impact. My impact kind of program toward this film is based around curriculum because no one knows that there's so many women photographers, and so it shouldn't be where we only, even though we bow down and love Carrie, it should not be only Carrie is the one that we kind of know in recent memory, and because those names are over 500 plus, and I'm sure it's been tripled since then, that is the plan. You know, the full impact campaign, so to speak, but starting with curriculum so that the babies know that you can pick up a camera, you can pick up your mama's camera, you can pick up your cell phone, and you can make it work. It's in your hands. So that's it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you both so much again. Can we just have another round of applause? Thank you for taking